Welcome to SATV News. This is Tushiamin with our headlines. Section 144 imposed at CU nearby areas after flash classes leave at least 400, including Pro VC Proctor, injured. Jamaat leaders meet chief advisor at Jamuna, scheduled to meet NCP at 6:30 p.m. and BNP at 7:30 p.m. today. Noor's condition gradually improving, says DMCH director, may be discharged from hospital within a week. Now in details. Section 144 has been imposed in the area from the gate number 2 of Chittagong University to the rail gate on the east side of the gate following repeated clashes between students and the locals. The restriction will continue from 2 p.m. to 12 a.m. tomorrow, reads a notice issued by the Upazila Nirbay office today. Unrest escalated in Chittagong University for the second day as clashes erupted again between students and locals near the university's gate 2 earlier today, leaving Pro Vice Chancellor MD Kamaluddin and Proctor Professor Tanveer Mohammad Haider injured. A senior university official attempted to mediate between locals and students in the morning. Locals surrounded them from both sides and hurled brick bats, injuring the officials along with several students. To bring the situation under control, university security forces fired several blank shots. The unrest stems from an incident late last night when a female student returning to her rented house near CU's gate number 2 around 11:30 p.m. after the main gate was closed was harassed by the building's security guard. Tensions at Rajshahi University escalated this morning when a group of general students broke the law on the Rajshahi University Central Students Union Raksu Treasurer's office and entered following a lockdown by the Jatiyotabadi Chhatrodol JCD over demands for a revised voter list. Around 10:30 a.m. today, JCD's University Union padlocked the office of the treasurer, who is the chief returning officer in the upcoming student elections, halting the collection of nomination papers and vandalizing furniture. The activists of BNP student wing, led by its president Sultan Ahmed Rahi, demanded that the 5,000 first-year students from 2024 to 25 academic session be included in the voter list, warning they would not participate in the election otherwise. According to RU Treasurer and Raksu Chief Returning Officer Professor Sataur Rahman, while the first-year students could be included, it would require a new election schedule. Unfortunately, Chhatrodol is leaning towards mob violence instead of democratic discussion. We prefer to resolve the issue through negotiation, he added. The tension further escalated when Salahuddin Amar, a former coordinator of Students Against Discrimination SAD platform, who came to collect his nomination papers but was blocked by JCD activists, sparking a heated argument between the two groups. Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus sat for a meeting with the Jamaat-e-Islami this afternoon to discuss the upcoming national election and the prevailing political situation as tension grows over reforms, poll date and the implementation of the July Charter. Jamaat leaders arrived at the Chief Advisor's official residence Jamuna at around 4:30 p.m. According to a previous announcement, the Jamaat delegation is led by its Naibi Amir Syed Abdullah Muhammad Tahir. The delegation also includes Secretary General Professor Mia Ghulam Parwar and Assistant Secretary Generals Maulana Rafiqul Islam Khan and AHM Hamidur Rahman Azad. Yunus is also set to meet with the National Citizen Party at 6:30 p.m. and the BNP at 7 p.m. according to the CS press wing. The BNP delegation will be led by Secretary General Mr. Fakhrul Islam Alongir and will include senior leaders from the party's standing committee, according to the BNP media cell member Sairul Kabir Khan. The NCP, in a press release today said its delegation will include Chief Organizer Hasnat Abdullah, Senior Joint Convener Ariful Islam Adib, Senior Joint Member Secretary Tasneem Zara and Senior Joint Chief Coordinator Abdul Hannan Masood. Home Affairs Advisor Lieutenant General Retired Jahangir Alam Choudhury today said that a free and fair and peaceful national election will depend largely on the participation and responsibility of political parties. Law enforcement agencies remain fully prepared to ensure security, the minister said, while speaking to reporters after a meeting of the Law and Order Core Committee at the Secretariat. The advisor revealed that since the interim government assumed office, Dhaka city and surrounding areas have seen 1,600 floor blockades enforced by 123 organizations. He urged political groups to avoid occupying roads and instead hold programs at open grounds for designated venues such as Sorwadi Uddan. People have the right to protest and make demands, but this should not cause public sufferings, he said. The advisor further said a fair election is not only about law enforcers, it depends mainly on the political parties' participation and commitment. The advisor stressed that with everyone's cooperation, the interim government hopes to deliver a free, peaceful and festive election. On questions of police inactivity, Jahangir said, criticism arises regardless of timing. If police move in before an untoward incident, some complain they obstructed a peaceful program. If they intervene after violence, others say they are delayed. We are trying. The core committee reviewed the overall law and order situation, upcoming university election, including Dhaka University, progress in July uprising cases, police neutrality, the proposed police reform commission, narcotics control, and the impact of provocative content and fake news on social media. EC releases supplementary list of voters to 12.63 crore voters. New 18-year-old to be added by 31st October. The Election Commission has released the supplementary voter list for the upcoming election, showing that Bangladesh now has 12 crore 63 lakh 7,504 registered voters. Additionally, new 18-year-old voters will be added by October 31st. Due to recent amendments to the Voter List Act, all citizens who turn 18 by 31st October will also be registered and the final count will be confirmed before the polls, said Election Commission Secretary Akhtar Ahmed during a press briefing at the Commission headquarters in Agarga, Dhaka today. He said this year's voters list will be published in 3 phases. As of 2nd March, the country had more than 12.37 crore voters. Following a door-to-door update drive, eligible but previously excluded voters were added, bringing the number to over 12.63 crore as of 31st August, he said. On 10th August, the EC had published a draft list with around 46 lakh new voters. After addressing claims and objections, the final count shows that a total of 47 lakh 8,858 voters were added, of which 1,37,642 were included during the claim review process. BNP has expressed doubt over the Election Commission's EC capacity to hold a free, fair national election, but said it still hopes the polls will be participatory and inclusive. BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi Ahmed made the remarks this afternoon after a meeting with 2 election commissioners at the EC headquarters in Dhaka. BNP's Chairperson Advisory Council member Ismail Jabiullah was with him. We have doubts about the Election Commission's capability. Whether the election will be truly free and fair is in question, because although the Election Commission is an independent body, at different levels of the administration there are accomplices in place and who are engaged in various tactics and far-reaching conspiracies to obstruct or prevent a free election, Rizvi said. He added that the Commission had assured them it was considering all aspects, prioritizing transparency and making the necessary preparation for a free election. The Commission was also aware of the remarks made by some political parties regarding the proportional representation peer system, he said. The physical condition of Gana Adhikar Parishad President Nurul Haq Noor is gradually improving, said Brigadier General MD Asaduzzaman, Director of Dhaka Medical College and Hospital, DMCH today. Noor is currently under close observation. Although his condition is showing signs of improvement, some complications still remain, he said while talking to reporters at the hospital. Noor sustained 4 major injuries: fractures in the nasal and jaw bones, injuries in his eyes and brain hemorrhage. The internal bleeding in the brain is gradually subsiding with treatment, he added. Besides, the latest CT scan results are good, the director said. Noor is being treated under the supervision of a 6-member medical board and the doctors are closely monitoring his overall condition, he added. After a 3-month ban, the Sundarbans will reopen tomorrow, allowing fishermen and tourists to enter the world's largest mangrove forest under official regulations. Sundarbans Forest Department on May this year imposed the annual restriction from June 1st to August 31st to protect biodiversity, ensure safe breeding of fish and crabs, and conserve the forest wildlife and ecosystem. Both ecotourism and forest resource collection remained suspended during this period. With the reopening, fishing communities in Khulna's coastal upazilas are preparing to return to the forest. Families dependent on crab and fish collection have been struggling during the closure, many surviving on debt. The 3 months were very difficult. I had to run my family on loans, said Sirajul Ghazi, a fisherman from Shukarkhali village in Doakab Upazila, who has been fishing in the Sundarbans for 4 decades. Next week, I will enter the forest with my younger son after taking permission from the forest department. Tour operators too are gearing up for the new season. Viewers, taking a short break, please stay with us. Welcome back, you're watching SATV News. Now news from abroad. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said New Delhi was committed to improving ties with Beijing in a key meeting with China's President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of a regional security forum on Sunday. Modi is in China for the first time in 7 years to attend a two-day meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization along with Russian President Vladimir Putin and other leaders from Central, South and Southeast Asia and the Middle East in the show of Global South Solidarity. We are committed to progressing our relations based on mutual respect, trust and sensitivities, Modi told Xi during the meeting, according to a video clip posted on the Indian leader's official X account. The bilateral meeting took place 5 days after Washington imposed punishing 50% tariffs on Indian goods due to New Delhi's purchase of Russian oil. Analysts say Xi and Modi are looking to present a united front against Western pressure. US President Donald Trump no longer has plans to visit India later this year for the Quad Summit, the New York Times claimed yesterday, as it detailed how relations between the American leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi unraveled over the last few months. In the report titled The Nobel Prize and a Testy Phone Call, How the Trump-Modi Relationship Unraveled, the NYT citing people familiar with Trump's schedule said that after telling Mr. Modi that he would travel to India later this year for the Quad Summit, Mr. Trump no longer has plans to visit in the fall. There was no official comment from either the US or India on the NYT's claim. India will host leaders of Australia, Japan and the US for the Quad Summit, scheduled to be held in New Delhi around November. The Trump administration hosted the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting in January this year, a day after Trump took the oath of office as president for a second term in the White House.
America will always be faithful and loyal friends.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin plans to travel to India in December, Putin's aide said Friday. Putin's foreign affairs advisor Yuri Ushakov told reporters that the Russian leader will discuss his upcoming December visit with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday in China. Putin and Modi will meet on the sidelines of the annual summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which was established by China and Russia in 2001, with a focus on security in Central Asia and the wider region. Putin is attending the summit and holding multiple bilateral meetings on the sidelines as part of a 4-day visit to China on August 31st to September 3rd. He also will hold extensive talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in Beijing and attend a massive military parade there commemorating the 80th anniversary of the end of World War, according to the Kremlin. In addition, meeting with Modi, the Russian leader on Monday is also scheduled to have bilateral meetings with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, as well as other contacts, Ushakov said.
Signing a slew of deals in trade and defense as India.
US President Donald Trump said on Saturday that he will issue an executive order to require voter identification from every voter. Voter ID must be part of every single vote, no exceptions. I will be doing an executive order to the end, Trump said on Truth Social. Also, no mail-in voting except for those that are very ill and the far-away military, he added. Trump has long questioned the US electoral system and continues to falsely claim that his 2020 loss to Democratic President Joe Biden was the result of widespread fraud. The president and his Republican allies have also made baseless claims about widespread voting by non-citizens, which is illegal and rarely occurs. For years, he has also called for the end of electronic voting machines, pushing instead for the use of paper ballots and hand counts, a process that election officials say is time-consuming, costly and far less accurate than machine counting. Earlier in August, Trump pledged to issue an executive order to end the use of mail-in ballots and voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. A new $250 visa integrity fee imposed on travelers to the United States risks piling more pressure on the struggling travel industry as overseas arrivals continue to fall due to President Donald Trump's crackdown on immigration and hostility to many foreign countries. Overseas travel to the U.S. fell 3.1% year-on-year in July to 19.2 million visitors according to U.S. government data. It was the fifth month of decline this year, defying expectation that 2025 would see annual inbound visitors finally surpass the pre-pandemic level of 79.4 million. The new visa fee, set to go into effect on October 1st, adds an additional hurdle for travelers from the non-visa waiver countries like Mexico, Argentina, India, Brazil, and China.
On a card, you need ID. You go out and you want to buy anything.
Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto on Saturday cancelled a planned trip to China as days of protest spread further outside the capital, Jakarta, with several regional parliament buildings set ablaze. Prabowo had been due to attend a Victory Day parade in China on September 3rd to mark the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II, following Japan's formal surrender. The protest, the first major test for Prabowo's nearly year-old government, began in Jakarta this week over lawmakers' pay and worsened after a police vehicle hit and killed a motorcycle rider. The president wants to continue monitoring directly and seek the best solution, presidential spokesperson Prastaho Haldi said in a video statement on Saturday. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un promised a beautiful life for the families of the martyrs who perished fighting for Russia in the war against Ukraine, state media said on Saturday, praising the bereaved for the heroism of their sons and husbands. Kim on Friday hosted the families of soldiers and expressed grief at having failed to save the precious lives of the fallen men who sacrificed their lives to defend the country's honor, KCNA state news agency reported. The heroic feats of the soldiers and officers were possible because of the strength and courage given to them by families who are the most tenacious, patriotic, and just people in the world. Kim told the parents, wives, and children, KCNA said, "They did not write even a short letter to me, but I think they must have entrusted their families, including those beloved children, to me," Kim was quoted as saying. Before ending, we'll go to the headlines again. Section 144 imposed at CU nearby areas after flesh classes leave at least 400, including Pro VC Proctor, injured. Jamaat leaders meet chief advisor at Jamuna, scheduled to meet NCP at 6:30 p.m. and BNP at 7:30 p.m. today. Noor's condition gradually improving, says DMCH director, may be discharged from hospital within a week. You're updated with the top stories so far here on SATV, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.